I'm Jenn Weatherhead, a travel journalist and a travel enthusiast. I've taken my passion for travel and turned it into my job, and I want to bring you along with me while I find the next destination you should add to your travel list.
Cholesterol and diabetes, that thing has both right there.
From lesser-known destinations to revitalized cities and up-and-coming neighborhoods and familiar places, this is Next Destination. Hi, I'm Jenn Weatherhead, and this is a special food episode of Next Destination in Hong Kong. Hong Kong can be described as many things: vast, urban, bustling, intriguing, even mysterious. It's a city full of treasures with plenty of alleys to discover, markets to wander, temples to explore, and of course, some of the best food in the world, which is exactly why I needed to dedicate an entire episode to this city's food scene. Come with me while I dive into traditional food, milk tea, pineapple buns, fish maw, and crafty cocktails on this episode of Next Destination Hong Kong. I don't know if I've ever been this excited for the food in a destination before. Hong Kong is well known for its food scene, from Michelin-starred fine dining to Michelin-recommended street food. There is really something for every budget imaginable and for every taste. And I'm not going to waste a single moment on my trip. As soon as I land, I'm off to explore through the food and drink scene. The benefit of arriving late in the afternoon to Hong Kong from Canada: you need to stay awake for several hours, and there's no better way to do that than to test out the cocktail scene in Central on Hong Kong Island. For that, my first stop is at Kinsman, where cocktails have a deep connection to Cantonese traditions by using Cantonese spirits. Gavin Young is the co-founder of Bar Kinsman, where his mission is to elevate Cantonese spirits through mixology. Gavin says Cantonese spirits have historically been consumed for medicinal purposes or as a standard daily drink, but he wants to transform them into refined mixology ingredients.
So my name is Gavin Young, and I'm the co-founder of Kinsman, which is a Hong Kong-based cocktail bar that specializes in using Cantonese spirits. I'll be making the Papaya Van Winkle today, which is a quite herbal, complex cocktail that's been on our menu since the very beginning, since we opened around close to 2 years ago. And this one is really inspired by a Cantonese dessert sweet soup. Very nourishing. It has a local gin, it has a medicinal papaya wine, Cantonese amaro, which is based on roselle. And then we also have some tomato syrup, and so it's quite a nourishing, very comforting stirred cocktail to have.
Oh, I'm really excited to try it.
All right.
So while you're mixing that up, maybe you'll tell me a little bit about Kinsman and how it got started.
So Kinsman really started during the pandemic, and then it kind of got to a point where I was a bit bored of making the usual classics. So I started to incorporate Asian ingredients into them. First with the easy stuff like yuzu, but then very soon I found out that actually Hong Kong has an amazing history of locally distilled wines and spirits, which are, which have been around for decades, and they're not really in the sense of like local gin or whiskey or vodka. Like those are still kind of like Western spirits. But stuff like the papaya wine that I'm using, which is has medicinal roots, a lot of Italian liqueurs and bitters and amaros. This one here, actually.
Can I smell it?
Yeah, please. And they kind of started out as these medicinal things, but I just didn't think that there was any reason why it should stay like that. So when I started, I actually found out that not only do your average consumers not know about this kind of stuff, but even like bartenders, mixologists, they were completely clueless. So,
Wow.
so yeah, I thought that was kind of like, if French bartenders didn't know what vermouth was, it's kind of like a parallel to that. So I thought it's just something that should not be happening. Like, we really should be prouder of our own heritage and at least aware of it before we know how to use it.
Homemade.
Hong Kong is the gourmet capital of Asia. You'll find great tastes everywhere in the city, with over 50 master chefs who've handpicked 250 restaurants. Download the Gourmet Guide now and discover the culinary treasures of Hong Kong.
With Wise, Tina can spend and send money in other currencies. Tina's gone.
International. Moving all around, money head there, everywhere, man, I like a sound. Ding, 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 ding. International. Moving all around, money head there, everywhere, man, I like a sound.
Wise, the app for doing things in other currencies.
Now that I've dived into the emerging cocktail world in Hong Kong, I'm looking for a taste that is rooted deep in tradition. There is no shortage of incredible local traditional food in Hong Kong. But for my mission, I enlist the help of Michelin-starred chef Vicky Cheng. Chef Vicky has ties back to Toronto, but he has firmly made his name in Hong Kong with his fine dining restaurant called Wing. And he's going to show me some of the most traditional and important ingredients used in food in Hong Kong, with a fine dining twist, of course. How lucky am I that Chef Vicky is going to give me a hands-on experience with fish maw and sea cucumber in his restaurant Wing. I'm going to learn about the traditional blooming process and how he prepares the dry seafood at his Michelin-star restaurant.
So, dried seafood is a big part of Chinese culture that goes from gifting for relatives as a sign of respect to eating as nourishment to collecting almost like an edible piece of art. And this was in so many ways, this is like the truffles and caviar in Chinese cuisine. So we can go through the value of each later on, but the idea is actually in front of you are the different stages and process of how we get from what looks like a dried piece of plastic to something that you can inject flavor and eventually eat. So this, from here, after about 4 days, you get this big piece of rehydrated fish maw. So what is fish maw? Fish maw is literally the swim bladder. So this is cut open, as you can see here. Mm-hmm. Okay. So when it is closed, just like now, it becomes like a little tube. Okay. If you imagine this bit is connected, mm-hmm. and the fish, like a tube, swims this way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it uses it in the middle of the ocean to blow itself up like a balloon to float. Wow. Because if you imagine if a fish, so many meters down and spend so much energy swimming up, by the time they get up, they'll be eaten by a shark. So this mechanism was designed for that. And when they want to sink, they then all of a sudden shrink this little balloon and go back down in the ocean. And because of it, it is virtually like 100% collagen, and you can see just by this.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, please.
Oh wow!
It's a bit squishy.
Yeah.
And right now, if you use a little bit of force and pinch through it, now when it's ready to be cooked, when we can cook it, it's basically when you can use your hand and use just enough force to basically push through the fish maw. Then it becomes ready to cook. So right now, this would be if you use a little bit of power, you can push your thumb right through, right?
So you would be able to cook this now.
Exactly.
And this has been 4 days, did you say?
This is 4 days.
4 days,
Yeah.
just in water?
4 to 5 days, depending on the size of the fish maw. Sometimes it takes 14 days. And no, it's not just in water. So what we call the blooming process is a very unique technique in Chinese cuisine. And what we do need to do to it is to inject flavor. So this is where the cooking technique becomes very important, because it's a very, you can feel it's a very dense piece of collagen. So it takes a good amount of technique, good amount of knowledge to be able to inject flavor into something that is not very porous. So it's very difficult to inject flavor into this. And if you don't, it just literally will taste like almost nothing but just a piece of texturally interesting collagen. From this dried one, tiny little guy here, after 1 day of
just
water, after 2 days of hot water, and then by the 4th day, we cut open, and then we remove the inside. So all of this is the innards of the sea cucumber.
And not what you want to eat. You're just eating the outside.
Actually, in Spain, this is called espadeñas. So they are a delicacy. They taste almost like a sweet clam.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and they eat it fresh over there. But it's funny because they only eat the insides.
Oh, interesting.
And they don't use the outside. So I've always said that the Spanish and the Chinese can make a good business together because
they can share it.
Exactly. So we would take from day 4 to sometimes day 5. From here, we would either rebraise it in like an abalone sauce or different properties, like even mapo tofu in wing. And at Vea, we would use this as actually one of the signature dishes, is that we would stuff this with a mousse, a French mousse, use a French, almost like a lobster bisque tasting sauce. So something very familiar in terms of palate to a French restaurant, but then we'll use something so completely bizarrely Chinese and turn this into all these little spikes. We'd get hot oil bath, and then it would become crispy. So you have this like crispy, eclair looking thing.
That's amazing with the different textures.
Here you have the first is the fish maw. So this fish maw is the one that you saw earlier, rehydrated.
Very collagen.
Yeah, so we portion it into a specific size. Then we basically inject flavor. Usually, traditionally, Chinese cuisine, we always cook it with a sauce made of meat. So usually it's a combination of pork and chicken. So that's basically what we have here as well. Only we've also added a little bit of abalone flavor. This is that spring roll that I mentioned earlier. Okay, so it's a technique that we do that makes it puff up into a super airy spring roll.
It's like so airy on the top.
Yeah. And I'm gonna cut it open, and you will see that on the inside is literally just a puff of air and a piece of sea cucumber.
Okay. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so you will see that this is a very unusual way to make spring roll because here we want to give the spotlight to the sea cucumber and the sea cucumber entirely because it is so, like I mentioned, it's such a prestigious ingredient and important part of our culture. And so I didn't want to cut it into shreds and then you end up not feeling the texture, which is, like I mentioned over and over again, that's actually the most important part of the taste of this product.
Since I've learned so much about fish maw, it's time for Chef Vicky to show me where he sources his dried fish. Welcome to a dried fish market, where the walls are lined with dried fish worth millions of dollars.
Welcome to Dried Seafood Shop, where, you know, whenever, if you, like I said, if you go to Shangwan, you'll find so many more shops exactly like this, where they sell dried fish maw, dried abalone, dried sea cucumber, many things that you saw earlier. But there's a saying, you know, it's much more valuable to rob like a dried seafood shop versus a jewelry shop, because like when you look at this, when you look at this fish maw, so the fish maw that you saw earlier versus this one is in a different category. So here you will see that this is $45,000 Hong Kong a piece.
Wow.
So that's around 5,000 euro, this one piece here.
That one piece?
Yeah. And this is about 20 years of age. And
is that why it's so expensive? Because of the age of it?
And no, it's the species of the fish, the size of the maw, and also the age of the maw.
Wow.
In that combination, it creates a value. People collect these like pieces of art, and they have it on display in the house. This is one of the most delicious type of fish maw that you can buy. So this one is the same as the one that we use in the restaurant, the one that you saw.
Yeah.
Only is just massively bigger.
Yeah.
And so this one is also about so 5,500 euro. Wow. This one piece. So when you look at it, when you compare, actually this and this is very similar price.
Right.
Per piece. So this all of a sudden becomes even more expensive than this.
Right.
Much more expensive because it's much smaller.
Yeah.
Go from the lap of luxury to lands untouched by time, where ancient civilizations once thrived, where their spirit still lives on today, and where you can leave everything else behind and grab life. Plan your trip today.
Discover Hong Kong in our next destination episodes, available on YouTube and streaming now on Parrot TV.
Hong Kong is the gourmet capital of Asia. You'll find great tastes everywhere in the city, with over 50 master chefs who've handpicked 250 restaurants. Download the Gourmet Guide now and discover the culinary treasures of Hong Kong.
Okay, I have checked off fancy cocktails, and fine dining with a traditional twist. But now I'm craving some easy, local street food. Things that are everyday staples and are absolutely delicious. And for that, I'm jumping from Central on Hong Kong Island to the mainland in Kowloon. Are you ready to get hungry? Because just look at all these incredible eats. One thing I always try to do when visiting a new city is a food tour. It's the best way to sample some of the most amazing food that you can go back and try again later if you really love it. And you get out walking. You get to see so many sights, and you even get some history lessons. This time, I signed up with Virginia from Humid with a Chance of Fish Balls. Virginia used to live near Vancouver before relocating back to Hong Kong, and she is in the know when it comes to all the most delicious bites in the city. Our first stop, ice cream. But not just any ice cream. Let's find out some more about it.
Where are we?
We're gonna eat ice cream.
Yes. I'm so excited to have this. But this is special ice cream, right?
It is. There's only one flavor. So this is a black sesame shop, a specialty shop. And the owner, she started in 2022 during the pandemic. She studied nutrition, and so she wanted a shop that was all about the nutritional. So she started a shop all about one ingredient that had a lot of nutritional benefits, and she picked black sesame. So in TCM, traditional Chinese medicine, we believe that black sesame will make your hair blacker, it'll grow more hair, there's a lot of nutrients and antioxidants. So everything in this shop is black sesame focused or black sesame forward.
So not just ice cream here.
Not just ice cream, so that's the one that everybody is eating, but on the hour, they have something called Fuji Film. It's actually a black sesame roll.
What a way to kick off a food tour. Trust me when I say these two black sesame treats were a highlight of my day.
Cheers.
Cheers.
From ice cream to milk tea and French toast, we're going to try two absolute staples in Hong Kong, and I cannot wait.
And then here is the Hong Kong style milk tea, also inspired by the British. But for us, we actually don't use fresh milk, but we use evaporated milk.
Oh.
Back in the day, they were trying to decrease the price of milk, and so they decided to can the milk, extend the shelf life, which made it cheaper, and so we use evaporated milk a lot.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm so excited. It's my first time trying milk tea.
Okay, let's go ahead. The cha dam, which is the heart of the tea, is very important. So they'll use usually the broken and the dust. So then the British in their fancy afternoon tea will have the full leaf tea, will use the more broken down parts, and then they will mix it together. That would be the heart of the tea, and that will be the secret recipe for every single restaurant. So they all do it slightly different.
It is so strong. Like you feel it on your tongue. Like when a tea is steeped for a long time and you like feel, is it tannins or something?
Yeah, kind of salivate a little bit.
But it's really good.
It's kind of flowery, and it gets mellowed out with the milk.
It does, yeah. I like it.
It's a good pick-me-up. So this is afternoon tea. About 3:30, you get a pastry or a French toast with your milk tea or a lemon tea. This is the commoner's version. So back in the day, French toast for you would be maybe on brioche, baguette, butter, or syrup. All these things were imported, very expensive. So the locals would look at what they had in the kitchen and are like, well, we have a wok, so let's just fill it with oil. So then they would deep fry it, but because they don't have syrup, so that's why they usually put peanut butter or kaya, which is like a coconut jam.
Yeah.
Because when you deep fry it, it liquefies, so it will act as syrup.
So far, I need to eat more black sesame ice cream, milk tea,
Pineapple buns.
Pineapple buns. I haven't had enough of those yet. And now I'm adding French toast.
Sounds like a very delicious but carby diet you've got going on.
Well, if we walk around through the markets enough,
Oh yeah.
then I'm good, right?
You forgot one food group, egg tarts.
I forgot about that. Okay, so 5 things that I have to just continuously eat.
Do you like crust or inside? I want a little bit of crust.
I'll try a little bit of crust.
Cheers, cheers.
want French toast with peanut butter from now on. Like, we can't have it any other way.
In between all those food stops, Virginia and I wander through markets, meet locals, and we get a feel for what daily life is like in the city.
Yeah, so people like things really fresh. So my dad believes that the feistiest one will taste the best because their meat is more firm.
Wow. So these literally just came out of the water, and then they put them here.
Hello. Sangwa.
On to another sweet treat with one of my favorite ingredients, tofu.
So the difference between this and tofu is like tofu you have to press it,
Yeah.
but this is before. So they will start off with just soybeans, soaking it, and then they make soy milk, and then afterwards they will make it so it's coagulates.
Oh, and then it turns into this.
Tofu, yes. But it's very, why we like tofu pudding is because they should have this very silky, smooth texture. They are so good at making their tofu, and they're so confident in their tofu pudding that you don't get any other toppings. Usually you'll get red bean, black sesame,
Right.
or even ginger syrup. But for this one, they just use the red sugar.
That's it.
That's it. It's very simple, very subtle. It has this very fragrant tofu flavor that kind of wafts through.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
And you said, like, they're so confident in this because they've been around since when?
1893.
Okay, I'll trust it.
Super light.
Wow, it's so light. It's so silky. It honestly just feels almost like it's so close to just being liquid.
Yes.
Right?
We end our food-filled day in what might be my favorite of all the stops. We're at a traditional Dai Pai Dong. These open-air street food dining spots are a Hong Kong classic. And after a day of sweet treats, I'm craving something hot, spicy, and super unique from a really hot wok. I love how busy a Dai Pai Dong is. You can just tell it's a gathering place that also has some incredible food to eat.
It's a century egg. Why is it called a century egg?
Because it looks like it's taken a century to marinate.
But it hasn't really taken
It hasn't
century.
really.
It just looks that way.
Usually it has a rice husk, and then they put in clay, and then there's some sort of chemical reaction, and then it turns into that.
Okay. Let's try it.
You can eat it with a vegetable, with that.
Maybe I'll try it with a vegetable. Thank you. Oh, look, you got me some of each. You really did. You're like, let's just go for it. Okay.
Are you ready?
Wait, let me get. Okay.
I think I'm gonna need another trip to Hong Kong just to eat because wow, this city's food scene is unmatched. From Cantonese spirits and cocktails to fine dining to dried fish and so many sweet treats and street food. I scratched just the surface of what you can tempt your taste buds with here. But I'm on to explore even more of Hong Kong, from its alleyways to its islands filled with nature, in my next episode of Next Destination.